Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Lost. I'm Stylosa and oh yes, I've been spending quite a bit of time watching back the Battlefront multiplayer reveal trailer, which actually was gameplay, although it was still kind of staged gameplay, but it was actual gameplay nonetheless of Battlefront. I've been going over this and I've been putting my mind to what actually has been going on, and I've made this handy little video where I just want to talk about some of the things which we can see have changed and some of the other bits and pieces and whatever. Okay, so it would seem that DICE are going for a vastly simplified approach to Battlefront, which kind of does make sense given the wider audience Star Wars would attract. But is this a good or bad thing for kingly, hardcore gamer winners such as ourselves? Well, yes it is and no it isn't. So one thing I've noticed is the crosshair doesn't expand when you move around. So this must mean, using my amazing Sherlock detective skills, that this does not reduce accuracy. So you can kind of run around and your accuracy won't degrade as you move. That is dumbing down, but you've got to remember in the context of Battlefront, this is a game where you can play in third person mode, so it does kind of make sense. So I think I'm okay with that. Primary weapons don't appear to have ammo as well. Instead, they seem to be overheating when fired for prolonged periods of time. So basically, you don't have to worry about ammo. You can just keep running around, firing away, all happy as Larry. Although you need to fire in controlled bursts, because if you overheat your weapon, then no doubt there'll be a cooldown period where you cannot fire, and then you'll probably get shot and die, which will be bad. Heavy weapons as well seem to be pickups all around the map, or at least on the Hoth map in whatever game mode this is that they are showing in this gameplay trailer. So this does mean that any class does have the potential to take on heavy armor, which is great, because no longer will you feel like, oh, okay, I'm a recon class, I'm useless against this AT-AT or whatever that's come around the corner. No, at least you've got some sort of way of doing damage to other stuff, which is good, you know, which is good. One thing that does get me worried, though, is the flying around the AT-AT to leg him up with the tow rope. You see a prompt on the screen, then you see the speeder fly around the legs. This looks like it's an autopilot, and it looks like you well, it just looks like a QTE. It looks like you flew up to the AT-AT, you've pressed the button, E or whatever the hell it would be on PC, and then suddenly your speeder just flies around the AT-AT until it falls over and dies. Okay. I hope that's not the case. But I mean, if they are going for the dumbing down approach, it might well be the case, and there could be a situation where the AT-AT has to sustain so much damage before it is eligible to be legged up, because if you could just fly straight into the thing and trip it over, that might be a bit... it'll sort of take it out of the map a bit quick. So maybe there is a case where you need to do a load of damage to it first and then it becomes eligible for it. But still, I don't like the fact that this does appear to just simply be you fly close to it with your speeder, you press one button, you fly around it, and it falls over. Also, on the topic of the AT-AT, it looks like it's on rails. I hope it isn't. Well, what we can see are the players using the weapons, and it's got a lot of weapons, and they're firing them all over the place. That looks beautiful. It also appears to be calling down orbital strikes as well, which again looks pretty mad. But the question is, can players actually control the thing and walk wherever they like with it? You know, because I'm going to be seriously pissed if you can't, because I just want to walk this bad boy around and stamp on people and do all kinds of mental stuff with it. So if it is on rails, I mean, maybe they're going to go the route of it's sort of the focal point of that map and of the level, of the game mode, whatever the hell this is, where you have the big AT-AT walking through the level and the rebels have got to stop it before it gets to the shield generators and takes them out. Maybe that's what's going on there. I don't know, but I prefer to be able to pilot it myself. The Hoth level appears to function kind of like rush mode as well from Battlefield. There are these radar dish uplink things all over the place, and you run up to them, and then you press a button, and you kind of activate them, and then you've captured it. Now this is like MCOM style from rush mode on Battlefield. So this doesn't mean that you're going to be standing around for a long time, like typical Battlefield control point system where you stand around on A for a while, wait for it to get captured, then you move to the next one. This looks like you run up to the point, you press a button, you now own the point, you move on to the next one. Makes it faster and makes it more fluid, and it kind of keeps the fight moving, I guess, instead of little battles starting up around the capture point, which is what happens on Battlefield. So I think that's okay. I think that's going to make the game a little bit faster, and I think that's what they're going for. The run animations look really nice as well, and the sound design is superb, but then you would expect that because this is DICE. I mean, I always remember that time on Battlefield 3, I forget the map, it's on a mountain, and you go through like a bridge in the mountain, like a tunnel through the mountain, and I remember firing the weapon off, yet if you fired it inside a metal container, it had a different sound profile, because obviously you were firing it inside a container. And that was when I knew, ladies and gentlemen, that DICE, they have got audio engineers from, I don't even know from where, like the best, awesome. You can hear in the trailer, the sounds they just sound amazing, all of the sound. the sound effects, the weapon fire and everything. I know it's Star Wars. I know the Star Wars sound effects, the Star Wars score and all of that is great anyway. But DICE seem to be able to take sound to the next level, which is great. And I think it's just going to add to the game, isn't it, to have nice sound effects. There also seems to be some funky usable items. There is a player-deployed shield dome we see at one point, and this seems to negate the damage completely from an orbital bombardment, which is good, because that means there is a way of actually surviving these what appear to be insanely ridiculous, highly damaging, massive area of effect attacks from space, because you see the one from the AT-AT which is fired down and kills loads of people, yet later on we see the shield deployed and those guys seem safe from it. So I like that. There's a way of defending a point from, I guess, super weapons you could call them. Let's talk about flight though, because there does seem to be a very low flight ceiling. This means that you can't actually go very high. Now this could be just the scripted nature of the gameplay on the demo, or maybe not. I mean, as for the flight itself, it does look very similar to how Rogue Squadron plays. Again, this is not really a bad thing. It's going to mean more people are able to actually jump in and take part. I mean, when I say it's like Rogue Squadron, I mean, it's very simple. It doesn't look difficult. You know, it looks like anyone can jump into an X-Wing, a TIE fighter, whatever, and fly it around, and it's going to be fine. And like, I think I'm okay with that, because you want people to get involved in aerial battles, because it's Battlefront. You know, you want all of the combined arms, don't you? You want the infantry, you want the air, you want space, you want the massive walkers, you want everything taking part in a battle. You don't want a battle to just become stale and like, oh, there's no point getting in the X-Wing because it's too difficult to fly. You don't want that, and I can understand why they've made that simple. So again, I'm okay with that being dumbed down. But talking about things not being dumbed down, you know, I'm all for making things easier to use, but I still want some degree of skill required to pull off certain things. Certain things like the tow rope to trip up the AT-AT, that should be, okay, I don't mind pressing a button like, or a little quick time event or whatever, just to attach the rope, but then you should actually have to fly this around yourself. And while you're doing this, you should be able to get shot down and everything, and if you fail it and fly into its legs, then you know, you failed it. You're not good enough to do that. You need to keep practicing until you get better. So I hope that is a thing. And apparently Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi is fighting Darth Vader on Hoth. Now I know Battlefront is not exactly like canon, is it? It's just like, let's have a massive fight with everything Star Wars, so you know, I'm fine with that, but that did make me laugh. So yeah, to coin a phrase from my chum Mr. Kirioth, all in all, I'm looking forward to this. This trailer, I know it's staged, okay, you've got to remember it's staged, guys. It's also from the PS4, and I would have liked to have seen PC footage, but I get all of these stupid deals that go on for E3, so people get exclusive trailers and blah, 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 blah. I am happy with what I've just seen, okay? This looks like a Battlefront game. But the biggest worry I had was a Battlefield, well, a Star Wars skin on Battlefield, and I don't think that would work, because Battlefield is a more complicated game. Battlefield's a different game. Battlefront is about having a big, almost like a film kind of movie style battle going on in places that we've all seen in Star Wars. You know, we want to play on Hoth. We want to fly down the trench on the Death Star, although that's not actually in the game at the moment, but maybe it will be. Well, I say not in the game, that no space combat will be in the game. At launch, they have said that, which is kind of disappointing. But I mean, going back to using Hoth as an example, yeah, you know, everybody wants to take part in that, and that's what Battlefront's like. And it looks like they've got that memo, and that's what they're trying to do. So I am interested in seeing more information on this, and my hype level, it is increasing, guys, and I want to know what you think. You know, did you pick up on some things in this trailer that I've missed? What do you think now on Battlefront? I mean, it goes without saying, this is probably going to be the biggest launch of the year by far. It'll be the biggest selling game DICE have ever made, because it's Star Wars Battlefront. You know, the new Star Wars film is coming out. There's going to be a massive marketing explosion of Star Wars stuff towards the end of the year. It's just going to be insane. So they already know it's going to do well, but I am happy with what I've seen, and I want to know what you guys think. And also, guys, if you do enjoy the video, then like the video, because that helps a ton. Subscribe to the channel, because we make loads of awesome content on Unit Lost. I've been Starlosa, and this, as I just said, is Unit Lost, and I'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.